I get a lot of questions about metal detectors, so I put together a brief film on metal detectors and metal detecting now. The one thing it won't show you is where to go, where the gold fields are and things like that. For that, you need to go to my website, treasuresites.com, and take a look in the book section for places that you can go and find the stuff. Best of the VLF, or very low frequency machines, in my opinion, for water work. It's not balanced for prospecting. It's not a prospecting machine, won't find small stuff, but for jewelry, anything like that, none better in the VLF. Well, let's kind of analyze what she's doing. And we're in a trench area. She's found a line where she's finding stuff, and what she's done is kind of work in that trench, concentrated area targets from the boat, the shoreline, until she started hitting them, and now she's just backing up, working that trench. She'll work all the way around this way, and that's the way you do it in hunting for jewelry. See how it gets deeper? That little trench line, that gets you closer to targets. Same thing in the gold fields. Now Connie's detecting with the Infinium. Now the Infinium was designed for the gold fields, and it is very sensitive, so we've got the discrimination backed off to about 3, and it's still much more sensitive than some of these other detectors. Now you might hear a low-high sound. That's for coins or iron, anything like that. A high-low sound is for gold targets, and since it was developed for the gold fields, I think you can understand you have to back the power of it off a little bit, because a piece of jewelry is much bigger than normal nuggets you find. And I've detected targets with this thing as deep as 3 feet, so it's just phenomenal. Ranging from a flake, see how small that is, all the way up to a large piece, similar, beyond the size of a ring. And we'll try the various detectors and see what kind of sounds we get, how small they'll detect the gold. Now this is tested with the Garrett Infinium. So I would say that with the Garrett Infinium, just reliable target, you'd probably want this size piece to be looking for, which is a good sized chunk. Now, what's the principle of these 2 pulse machines, or any pulse machine for that matter? It's shooting a signal down into the ground in a pulse, and then it turns off and it listens for a reply. It's actually looking for a rate of decay, but let's just think of it as kind of like a poor man's sonar. It's pulsing down in the ground 440 volts. So it takes a larger target to find with a pulse than it does with those very low frequency machines, which are wobbling a signal back and forth all the time. Now, what does this help? Well, with the pulse, it ignores iron sands. There's places where you can't use the VLF machines at all, because as it's trying to get that frequency down in the ground, it's hitting iron, and it can't get it through to see targets, and it just overloads the circuit. With these, the pulse machines, it simply ignores the iron in the ground, and it just shoots that smooth, steady wave. So you can find the larger size pieces of gold. You can still hunt gold with a pulse machine all the time. Now on jewelry, it's just, you know, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. It'll pick that up at extreme depth every time. Have found things with this at a depth of 3 feet. So that's the smallest size that I'm hearing that it'll pick up. And on the big target, no problem. Elimination 0. Threshold up to where you could hear it, that's way too loud. And standard trash elimination. In other words, I'm using it just the same mode as the old Sea Hunter was. If I switch it over to here, I've got a microprocessor. And this is what I did in 1 month on jewelry with the Garrett Sea Hunter Mark II. Here we go with the Fisher Goldbug 2. It's operating at 71 kilohertz, so it should find even this little small flake. And it finds it. And now we're going to use the White's MXT, and notice we're using the little small coil, and what you want to use when you're trying to find gold, you want to give it all the help you can give it. And we're going to run it over the little small target, see if it'll find that. Just barely. No problem. No problem giving you a reading with the bigger target like the GMT. There's your reading. Now the MXT has a number of modes. I was in prospecting a minute ago, and we're going to flick it. It's got relic, where it'll tell you whether you find a bullet or a buckle or whatever. Let's go to the other popular mode, which is coins and jewelry. We've got down here a nickel. See, it's telling me on the screen it's found in 5 cents, or a ring. A nickel has the same signature as gold. See that? Penny. Even tells me it's a zinc penny. And a quarter. Let's try the Goldmaster this time. We're working with 50 kilohertz, and it does pick up the flake. Not as good as the Fisher Goldbug 2, but it's picking it up. Next size up, no problem. Gives us a reading for all of them. You dig that. Probability of iron, so the more it goes this way, the more probability you've got gold.